Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Khorasan, the Caliph and the Corruptor. This is part 3 of the War on Terra, where we're exploring some of the major problems, the war on Earth and its humans and ecosystems, from a malignant, parasitical, and predatory class of humans who have sealed hearts and who are engaging in devilry. They are human shayateen, and the jinn shayateen, who are their informers, their instructors, guides, and friends. Last episode, I briefly discussed the various elements of warfare on individuals, collectives, and ecosystems in a chemical, biological, atomic, and genetic aspects. Let's just talk a little bit more along those lines. So, for instance, 9/11 was actually it was a black magic ritual, and it was engaged to justify a war on the peoples of the earth. There was a focus on the Muslimin. However, it had other components, because really it was about destroying all of us and to destroy our cohesiveness to prevent future unity. There was a previous war on drugs that justified moving toward a high-tech policing and surveillance state, and that was on national and international levels. And then the war on terror took it to the next level, and also psychological warfare to traumatize our species and to get us to go on antidepressants and various pharmaceuticals. Which then, what happens? We got really trusting of pharmaceuticals, and what happens is they do not clean it out of the water supplies. So, for instance, if we're on heart medications because we're eating poor diet, we're drinking things we shouldn't be drinking. Well, like people are drinking, like, say, beer with fluoridated, chlorinated water. It's not pure water. And then other chemical inputs, frying their brain, frying their hormonal systems, their nervous systems. Smoking cigarettes with 2,000 poisonous toxic chemicals within them, and other substances. Then we've also got the street drugs as well that are intended to get people onto the pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals are related to pharmakia. It's a form of sorcery. Now, herbalism and plant medicine is not a problem, and holistic healing, naturopathy, and certain elements that are connected to the allopathic tradition, they're elements that are healthy, because in order to fool people and trick people, you have to have a certain percentage that's true and accurate, and then they put in more of the lie to pervert it and distort it. So it's good to learn about anatomy and the various ecosystems of the body, but they don't learn in a holistic way. They don't learn about nutrition. Nutrition should always be our go-to. We need to be eating as healthy as possible. Our food should be our medicine, and our medicine should be our food. The plants that are healing, the plants that are created to heal the nations, this is going to be, we already know about these, and we're going to be moving to those as we shift to a healing paradigm on the other side of justice. So justice and healing, this is the paradigm, because to be whole and pure and ethical is justice. We must have justice as individuals for ourselves, and appreciation for the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before we can focus on justice outside of ourselves. Because there are a lot of traps set in place to destroy humanity, because they want us in conflict with one another and blaming and pointing fingers at one another and harming one another. This is devilry, and we cannot fall for the okie doke, for the trickery. Now, just imagine that people go on all kinds of, like, say, heart medicines, diabetes drugs, chemotherapy, antidepressants. Then what happens is it goes into the body and it takes us out of bodily harmony and out of balance. Puts us in a disharmonious state, in a toxic state, which leads to cancers, neurological disorders, various illnesses, diseases, put us out of ease, out of balance, out of harmony within our bodily ecosystems and toward one another. And anything that negatively impacts the body negatively impacts the mind. It affects our cognition and our intuition. We are highly intuitive beings. So then what happens is these substances we are taking the inputs in, toxic, impure, unethical inputs from the meat, from the foods, from the medicines that are fake, from the water, the body products, the cleaning supplies, and then we're excreting them into the water system, which they do not clean out, and then that further poisons our showers, it poisons everything, and then it's impacting every other type of creature that also needs water that also needs that soil. War, not permanently, but for long term, destroys the soil and the water table. You know, and then I also mentioned in the other video that you know, bombing raids automatically disrupt the resonance, the harmonics of the area and the region, as well as causing mass damage. That's why I've mentioned in other videos that Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, all these places, Syria, places that have been heavily traumatized, you know, Palestine, through bombing, traumas, terror, psychological terror. These places, the people are very broken psychologically. Do not expect them to save the day. It's not going to happen. They're psychologically, emotionally, energetically broken and out of harmony. We need evidence. Right guidance always has evidence. Always. The nearer that you get to the Creator, the more creative you become. The nearer you become to the compassionate one, the more compassionate you become. The nearer you get to the knower, the more knowledgeable and reasonable and logical you become. You know, the closer, you know, so this is important to realize, because I'm going to present some solutions soon, inshallah. But we need to consider what the problems are. This is all related to the cosmic court case of Iblis versus Adam alayhi salam and his progeny. This is very important. The book of Job of Nabi Ayub alayhi salam provides elements of this, as well as the Adam and Iblis narratives within the Quran. They provide key components in certain related hadith that helps us to pull together the puzzle pieces and threads so that we can see the carpet as it really is. And then go into the deepest sajda so that we can be uplifted and rectified and made upright with integrity and dignity. We need to, all of our inputs and outputs need to be as pure as possible, as ethical as possible. Right guidance has very strong evidences behind it. You know, there are going to be fake Mahdis that are going to appear. And they're going to, all those things I mentioned about the nearer that we get to the Creator, we become more creative. The nearer we get to the forgiving, the more we're able to let things go and forgive and see things. The nearer we get to the all-seeing, the more we're able to see reality clearly as it really is. Remember, every arif is automatically an alim, but very few alims are arifs. There are very few. Matter of fact, most of the, many people that purport to be knowledgeable around the world in various fields, because there are all kinds of priesthoods and scholars that are authorities that are intended to get you off track and get us off track so that we cannot see clearly and we behave. Because when we have wrong vision, we have wrong practice. So we need to seek to be as ethical and pure as possible in all areas. There's so much more to this. I'll take a more systematic approach, but I'm freestyling because this information is important to get out there, because we're massively off track and we are in massive danger right now, people. Brothers and sisters, we need to wake up. And right now, look at the Muslimin destroying one another. The scholars go at each other. Oh, he's a kafir. Oh, he's munafiq. Oh, he's murtad. Oh, he's off path. He's off track. They're destroying one another, and then the people are taqlidis. Everybody's following blindly and doesn't know how to think properly for themselves. No proper comprehension, no proper comprehensive skills or tools, and the intuition is massively damaged in the ummah. So we're so off track. Our histories have been distorted. Our source books, like a lot of the hadith, have been tampered with. People are obsessed with chains of narration rather than what the actual matins say, and many of those matins are fully in contradiction to the Quran and the broader prophetic tradition. There's so much that has been preserved, but it is different than what people have imagined. We need to have vision. We need visionaries right now. We need to see things clearly. And right now, all you got to do is look around on YouTube and look at the leadership, within the ummah and beyond. And if you got eyes to see, you're going to see devilry, straight up devilry, sellouts. And they are misleading by design. We need to be aware of this, Muslimin. It is time to awaken. It is time to go into a holistic focus on Tawbah. Holistic Tawbah. Think about Tawbah, turning away from unhealthy, toxic inputs and outputs in thoughts, word, and deed towards self and others, and purification, tazkiyah of body, of mind, of environment, of body products, of foods, of drinks, of your vehicle, of your household, your gardening products, your cleaning products, everything. Everything systematic and holistic. Our deen is actually organic and holistic. These people have been lying to us straight up and down, and the devils have now revealed it because they invert everything, so we flip it right side up and read Quranically. telling you, this is my word. We can be rectified very quickly, inshallah, but we have to be willing to change what is in our hearts. And right now we're about to lose a huge percentage of humanity. Huge, massive. This is by prophecy, but there is going to be a remnant. You know, we need to survive and thrive. We need to preserve our organic clay, our sacred Adamic clay. So it's time to be rectified, people. Calling us to Tawbah and Tazkiyah. This is your brother, Yasin. This is the Deep Roots movement, reporting from Dahab in the Sinai Peninsula, in the land of the ancient corrupt pharaohs, in the land of the righteous prophets, peace be upon them, and their inheritors. Till next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.